Saints putting dominant win in perspective after the recent skid. We are listening to, or watching, I suppose, Speak for Yourself on Fox Sports. Yes, FS1. We have been talking a lot about the Saints-Patriots game. So it's always good to hear the bigger media, to hear what the outside voices are saying, to not keep it insulated. So let's go to the mass media of Fox Sports and see what they are saying.
Distract you from maybe the biggest story in the NFL. The Patriots are terrible this year. Atrocious. Got beat 34 to donut versus the New Orleans Saints, y'all. Bill Belichick has now been outscored 69-0 in the last 111 minutes of play. Get this. Patriots are off to a 1-4 start, Shady, for the
Patriots are awful. I mean, look, absolutely no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Patriots are a bottom, we'll say a bottom 5 team. And the bad news for them is there's not much to look forward to. You know, I mean, here's the deals with New England. Bob Kraft has the least spending, or one of the least spending owners in the NFL. He's never had to spend. Why spend? Think about the teams Brady had. It was just Wes Welker and Julian Edelman and random receiver no one ever heard of and random running back no one ever heard of. And he would make them stars and they'd be gone. You know, it was never, besides Randy Moss, it was never bring in this huge player. The Patriots were never really about that. And with Brady, you don't have to be. Very similar to the Chiefs. You know, very similar to Kansas City, where you don't have to bring in the huge free agent. You don't have to bring in, you know, the mega deal. And the Patriots never did this. So they've never been used to this situation. And they haven't really drafted well either. Like the Patriot way, we're starting to see it more just be Tom Brady's way. If you think about the Patriot way, and you think about, take away the Tom Brady stuff. Who have they drafted? Like, what's their draft success? Who have they brought in? What's their spending like? When you look at those two things, it's not very impressive. And right now, that's kind of what they need. They kind of need to draft really well. They kind of need to bring in new people. So the Patriots are in a horrific spot. They're in one of the worst spots, I think. Because even if you look at like Chicago's got two. Right now, the first and the second overall pick, they've got Justin Fields. Like whether you feel good about Justin Fields or not, at least you have a guy. Like at least you have a guy who's like, okay, let's see what he's got. Patriots, they have nothing. You know, Mac Jones isn't the guy. They don't have that draft capital. So it's a really tough spot to be in New England.
The first time since the turn of the century. Bill Belichick's first season in New England, that was 2000. Last time they started 1-4. I'm shocked at how bad the Patriots are. 1-4. We haven't seen it. I know Bill Belichick without Tom Brady is not the Bill Belichick that everybody proclaimed to be the greatest coach of all time, but 1-4 is a bad coach. Yeah. We've always said Bill Belichick is an average coach without Tom Brady. Okay.
I think the surprising thing is that they're just getting absolutely steamrolled. Even before this game, I was saying, look, you got Belichick coming off of a loss. You've got him at home. He's going to know what to do. He's going to know how to scheme. It's going to be Belichick versus Pete Carmichael. Those tropes of like Belichick's game plan, Belichick versus whoever, Belichick can scheme this, Belichick at home, Belichick off a loss. Throw all that stuff out the window. That doesn't mean anything anymore.
1-4, 2-5 ain't average. Yeah. It's atrocious. So break it down for me. Should all the blame be on Bill Belichick?
Yes.
No, the roster's
I'm
bad.
wrong with that. I mean, I've been saying for what, years now?
Yep.
That it has to be Bill Belichick. When you look at the Patriots, from all the great times they had, great years they had, you know, you talk about Tom Brady, but a lot of that they give to Belichick. But then when you break it down, when Tom leaves, right, and he goes to the championship with the Bucs, and you're still there in New England, I don't see it. Like when I watch this team, there's nothing about them that talks about the Patriot way. You know, you always hear about that, the Patriot way?
No doubt.
They're tough on defense. I can't tell. They're getting smoked every week.
Yeah.
Development.
Development. You talk about the quarterbacks.
I mean, they're just saying what I'm saying. They have not. Look, I don't want to overreact, but we may have been sold a lie. It may have been. The conversation was always, is it Brady or is it Belichick? I thought it was like 60-40. It might be closer to 80-20. I mean, it might be, we may have been sold the ultimate lie. That, and it's not just Belichick. Brady might have made Bob Kraft look like a better owner. He may have made all those hosts of offensive and defensive coordinators better coordinators. None of them succeeded anywhere. Like, you look at the Belichick tree, wherever they went, it was just a disaster. So you could throw them in there. All the random players that we thought the Patriots were just developing, give them to the Patriots will make them good. It's Tom Brady. Give them to Tom Brady, and he'll make them good. So we're seemingly finding out a lot about the Patriots.
Players, I don't see no development. Mac Jones, first of all, you play with his confidence, sitting him, starting him.
Yeah.
Now he's just starting quarterback. I mean, I don't see him getting better. I don't see no growth. Let's talk about the money, though, right? Because on teams, you got to pay your players.
Oh, we're about to talk about spending. I mean, unbelievable how I get up here, just bam, rattling them off. But that's another huge issue, is the spending, paying the players, all that stuff. And if you want to throw that in, the fact that they let Brady walk is another bad sign. The fact that they underestimated how much they needed Brady.
Now, when they had Tom Brady, there wasn't paying all these guys on defense. Yeah. If you don't want to sign this contract we got for you, you can get your bags and get out of there. Yep. Now it's changed. I mean, if we look at this right now, they spent the 11th most on defense, still getting smoked.
On who?
They spent the 27th on offense. So you're not spending real money on offense, which you don't get that much production. But I guess that back then you could do that because you were
you had Tom Brady.
Players. You don't see it.
It's the same with the Chiefs. I guarantee you the Chiefs are in the bottom 10 of offensive spend. They don't have to, so they don't.
No more. A Julian Edelman, who was a hell of a wide receiver, you see him get better and better and better. You didn't think that he would be that when he came into the league. Now, Tom Brady's another one. So when you keep going to all these positions, you see them get better. Now, when I see him, I don't see that. And what I do see, that they went from the top team in the AFC East, then they're at the bottom. And they gonna stay there until they make some moves.
Ooh.
It's time for Bill to go. I'll say it.
I said it. I'm with you on that one, Joy. Should all the blame be on Belichick?
Yeah, it has to be, because he has all the power.
You got no power.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Is that in the Batman movie?
Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man.
I mean, not far off.
I mean, you can put some of it on the players, like the players not performing, Mac Jones not being good. But at some point, and I'll tell you another part of this that comes down hard on Belichick, is the whole coordinator problem. His son's on the staff. He brings in Matt Patricia, who was a defensive coordinator, who then was a head coach, who then got brought back to New England to run the offense for some reason. The constant, like, rotating doors of all these coordinators who are Belichick guys. He's not bringing in new ideas. He's not bringing in new people. I mean, if Josh McDaniels gets fired in Vegas, I can guarantee you he'll land in New England. He'll be on the staff the next day. It's kind of like what Sean Payton's doing with ex-Saints players going to Denver. Belichick, I think, is just, and that's another thing too. Like, let's say somehow the Patriots got the first overall pick. Is Belichick and Bill O'Brien correct for that development of a Caleb Williams? Like, is that who you want? Or is that, if you're Bob Kraft, are you ready to start that new chapter, let them develop the next person? Or is it time for new ideas? Is it time for a new person? Is it time for a new regime in New England?
When you're the GM and the coach, when you have the kind of power that we know what Bill Belichick has within that organization, you also have to take all the blame if it doesn't go well. And it's going bad. It's going bad. It's getting worse, actually.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
It is getting worse.
You can track the decisions that he made
They haven't scored in 2 games.
This team since Brady left, and it almost completely aligns with where they are right now. Remember, they didn't have an offensive coordinator last year. They were doing some weird thing that nobody understood.
No, they had 2 of them.
Patricia.
The defensive coordinator went to offense. That's right.
If you got 2, you ain't got 1.
Of like anything, right? That's generally how it works. So that's done at his development as well. Nobody else can understand what they were doing, but they got it figured out, though. No one's going to question it because it's Bill Belichick and the Patriots. And how can you? You have to put the blame at his feet. This is a disaster. This, like you said, it's getting worse. It looks bad.
This is something too with Mac Jones, where Mac Jones' rookie year, he was good. Mac Jones, his rookie year, people were saying, this is the rookie of the year. This is a guy. This is a franchise guy. This guy should have went, 3rd overall or whatever. Like this guy should have went higher than what the Patriots got. People were high on Mac Jones. And then all hell broke loose in his second year.
And he doesn't look like an average coach. He looks like a bad coach right now.
Correct.
And it's not just coaching. It's how you've assembled this team. We knew that this wasn't an overly talented team going into the season. I picked them to win this week because here's my issue with it. And then, sorry, James, but this is my issue with it.
No problem.
I don't like watching greats go out like this. And he has 6 Super Bowl rings.
Yes, he does.
He was the coach of what we consider to be a dynasty for 20 years. We may never see that again. Even as great as the Chiefs are and what they're building, 20 years of being the team that we expect to be in or around the Super Bowl every single year, to be what is that? Like, what are we watching here? And it actually pains me as someone who loves this game and wants to remember certain things a certain way. Like, you're messing it up. You're messing up my memories, man.
Well, like Shady said, it ain't going to get no better if he's in New England. So it's going to keep going downhill like this, and he's going to continue to look like a bad football coach. Yeah. But I just want to touch on a lot of it. You are the head coach and you are the GM.
Yes, sir.
Right? It's a lot of players that leave New England, and if they get cut, released, whatever, Bill say, come on back home. Right? That's Bill. That don't happen anywhere.
Yeah, man, that's the same. What I'm saying with these offensive coordinators, he's kind of become this weird insulated bubble of his own ideas. And I think the Patriots too, during the Brady era, the Brady Belichick era, whatever. I think the Patriots were on the forefront of a lot of cutting edge ideas. They were innovative. They were evolving. They were that team. They don't seem to be that team anymore. And I think it's because they are just this like insulated echo chamber for Belichick.
Where else? That's because you're the head coach and you're the GM. I get what I want. You drafted Mac Jones. His rookie year, he had a really good year. Everybody was looking at Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels like, dang, y'all knew he was going to be the best quarterback in the draft. Got another one. Now he's the worst quarterback out of that draft, and I believe it's because of you. The development you gave me, Josh McDaniels leaves, you give him 2 offensive coordinators, right, and a defensive-minded coach calling the plays.
The Patricia thing was a total disaster. Like, the Patricia thing was unexplainable. Patricia was a horrific head coach, comes back to New England, then he gets the offensive coordinator position, the play calling. He's a defensive guy.
How the young fella's supposed to get better? And then, like Shady said, and then you're taking him out, benching him for Bailey Zappi. Like, come on, what are we talking about? So he's gotten worse. The defense has gotten worse. Last week against the Cowboys, you scored 3 points. It was your worst loss ever. This week, you say, we could do better than that. They scored 0.
Another thing about the Mac Jones-Bailey Zappi thing, with Mac Jones, you benched him last year. Then this year, you benched him twice in back-to-back games. But Bailey Zappi, you're not exactly boosting his confidence. He started the season on the practice squad. Like, he's not exactly the next in line. Like, they haven't really boosted his confidence.
They went from 3 to 0.
He said, "Hold my beer,"
and gave up 34 points. Like, it don't get no worse than that. I understand 6-time Super Bowl championship coach. I understand all the things he's accomplished. But at one point, you got to go up to a man and you say,
at some point,
Shady,
it's
I
over.
appreciate everything you've done for me, bro.
But, hey, that's down the road.
Hey,
Thanks for everything.
If I see you in the drive-thru at McDonald's or Starbucks, it's on me. But right now, this here, this at the end of this year, it's over.
It's got to be.
It got to be.
On Friday, or maybe it was Thursday, I said there are 3 fundamentals to coaching in my mind. 3 fundamentals to coaching. Can you make
Sam Acho talking like he is in beat poetry, like his cadence of how he delivers this stuff, it is so similar to beat poetry. It blows my mind. I don't know how he does it for 3 hours or an hour or however long the show is.
manage your side of the ball, number 1. Number 2, can you manage people? And number 3, can you maximize potential? Joy said it. The Patriots are 25th in total defense. Bill Belichick is not managing his side of the ball. He's supposed to be a defensive mind. Number 2, can you manage people? Well, Mac Jones' rookie year, his offensive coordinator was Josh McDaniels. McDaniels leaves, that's fine. He goes, becomes a head coach. But then a sophomore year, his offensive coordinator was Joe Judge. Joe Judge was a former special teams coach for the Patriots who went to become the Giants head coach before flaming out. Now this year, Mac Jones' 3rd year, he has a new offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien, who left the University of Alabama after leaving the Houston Texans as a head coach, Alabama OC, and now you're back in the NFL. He's not managing people, he's not managing his side of the ball, and he's not maximizing potential because Mac Jones is getting worse, not getting better. Bill Belichick is not a good head coach. He's not a formerly great head coach. He's just a bad head coach right now.
I mean, look, it's way too knee-jerk reaction-y to be like, you know what? Bill Belichick was never a great coach. Bill Belichick was a clown this whole time. Like, that's a bit much. I think Belichick was a great coach. I think Belichick ushered in a lot of great new ideas. I think the Patriot teams were well coached. I think a lot of the stuff he did in the game. I remember one of the famous calls is when he took the safety. He took a safety on purpose against the Patriots, or against the Colts, to give them better field position when they punt. They were like in their own end zone, and instead of trying to punt out of their own end zone, they took the safety to punt. I mean, stuff like that. He was doing things that no one had seen before at the time. No doubt about it. I do think he was a great coach. I think what's happened now is he's got caught in this situation where he's having to rebuild a whole roster. The rebuild did not go well. This first attempt at it with Mac Jones, not working. He's got horrible coordinators around him, and it might have just passed him by. It's okay. It's okay for the greats to have trouble at the end and then be done. Like that's totally fine. Belichick isn't going to always be the Bill Belichick of those dynasties for his entire career. I think it's okay to say that. That's where I land on this, that he is great head coach, no doubt about it. Not a great head coach anymore. Not the same. You know, it's not the same. And the Patriots aren't the same franchise. They're not the same like perfect example of an organization. That's not the case anymore either. So if it doesn't get fixed, like let's say the Patriots finish with 4 wins. I think Bob Kraft should have the conversation with Belichick. Like, look, what do you want to do? Because this has to be turned around. If you do not turn it around next year, if you want to come back, and if you don't turn it around, we're gonna have to do something else. But I think he just deserved. He deserves a chance to fix it. He deserves a chance to get things turned around.
You got to remove the former accolades, remove the former titles. Interestingly enough, Joy, I don't know if this makes me an evil person, but I disagree that, like, I like what we're seeing now because I like knowing the truth.
Ooh.
I like knowing the truth.
So this is who he is what you say.
This is a wild take. You know, you can't wipe away someone's entire legacy and someone's entire career because of a bad couple of games, or even a bad season and a half. Like, that's not fair to the coach. That's not fair to a player. It would be like if Steph Curry all of a sudden couldn't shoot, and all of a sudden Steph Curry became a bad 3-point shooter. You can't say like, yeah, well, this is who he really is. All that other stuff was just kind of luck, and all the other stuff was just he was running hot. You know, now we finally know who he actually is.
The head coach without Tom Brady. As a defensive mind, Bill Belichick is the greatest defensive mind the game of football has ever seen.
That's such a weird take too, because some of the Super Bowls Brady won, the defense was terrible. Like if you go back and look, I guarantee you some of those Super Bowls that they won, I bet their defense was bottom 5, bottom 6. I bet they had like a 25 to 31 ranked defense. The defense wasn't always amazing. Some of them were, but it wasn't like, I mean, I don't think that's fair at all either. I don't think it's fair just to say he's a defensive mastermind. I think what Belichick was really good at was game planning. He was really good at scheming. He was really good at finding a way to win. We saw that last year or the year before whenever he beat the Bills in that wind game where Mac Jones threw it, I think, twice and they won, maybe even once, and they won. You know, like, he's good at that. But just to say he's a good defensive coordinator, he's not Rex Ryan. You know, like he's not just hyper focused on defense to where he can't do the rest. So I don't really agree with that.
Study the defenses from every era and every personnel. Defensive mind, he's the greatest. But as a head coach, he's just not that good. And I love the truth because we rarely get it in life. So often in life, we have to hypothesize.
All right, hypothesize is where we're going to end the video here. I think he's way ahead, out over his skis. I don't think any of this lines up at all. Whatsoever. Let me know in the comments below, ladies and gentlemen, where do you come down on this? This is a hot topic right now. The Patriots are in kind of a flux situation. They're kind of finding out a lot about themselves. Do you think Belichick will be there next season? Do you think he should be fired? How would you handle it? And do you agree that he hasn't been a good head coach? Do you agree that he's been kind of just a good defensive coordinator, as Acho says? Let me know in the comments below, especially if you're a Patriots fan. I would love to hear what you're thinking, how you see your franchise moving forward. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you in the next video.